Good morning, good evening, good on my fellow film freaks. My name is Bailey Noble and welcome to The Film Front. On this channel we react, rewatch, and review our favorite films, and I just watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. On today's video I'll be giving you guys my honest feedback and review on the film, what I liked and disliked about it. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Starting off with the plot. The plots to this film felt very grounded, standard, and unoriginal towards the other movies. There were a few new adaptations that they added into the world that took very icy risk at some points and didn't quite stick the landing the way they hoped it would. Pacing wasn't really the greatest, especially in the first two acts. It felt slow and drawn down by things that could have been taken out just to speed the process up. Not trying to say the film was too slow or too fast, I feel like it could have been managed a bit more than it was. We open in New York City 2 years since Afterlife, where we follow the Spangler family catching ghosts together as a team. This was something I found very enjoyable throughout the entire film and ate up every second. Instead of having 4 dudes in jumpsuits running around, it's now a family business being passed down by the original owners with a sprinkle of familiarity added towards it. This was one of the risks they chose and stuck the landing, and I was 100% on board. The film's plot is primarily based on the Ghostbusters working together to stop the big baddie, Goraka. Goraka is an ancient ice god who is imprisoned inside of a Sumerian orb that landed on their front doorstep by Nadim. Now, Nadim is one of those side characters that try to fit in to be one of the main protagonists, but he just feels out of place. Now, don't get me wrong, I like him as a character, but not as a main hero. We'll get into more of that at the end. There were other astonishing features throughout this film that I did enjoy, such as the visual designs and CGI, the comeback for the OGs, the new ghosts that were included, the introduction of Melody, and Goraka, the evil baddie. When it comes to visual designs and CGI within the film, there were a lot of scenes in here where I was blown away with how well the visuals looked and turned out. Sitting in the theater watching it on the big screen, me and my friend were like, is mind-blowing. The cinematography, the CGI, and the lighting were all beautifully balanced, and I did not have a single problem with it. Next, we have the classic Ghostbusters. They were fine. I personally would have been just fine if they weren't in the film. I mean, the only one that stood out to me was Ray, Dan Roden's character. That was only because he had the most screen time in here. I am not joking when I say that, by the way. He had more screen time than Finn Wolfhard's character and Paul Rudd's combined. I'm sorry, dude, but your time has passed. I just feel like bringing them back was a lack of lazy writing. Yeah, they made me laugh, especially Bill Murray's character, but it just didn't feel like we needed it. It was great having them in the final act to help beat Goraka, but I just feel like the writer was like, add the originals. Done. I just feel like it was a waste of time and they were only in it for marketing. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Next, we have the Ghost. I appreciate the introduction and newly ghost design instead of just dragging the OGs. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing Slama ghoul over Finn Wolfhard. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. And even seeing the Liberian ghost again was a real treat, and having her scare Dan Roden's character just like in the first film. But having a new revamped gallery of ghosts just gave a greater city OS and a satisfaction towards the fans and myself. I'm just glad they weren't lazy with it and they actually listened to the fans on what we wanted. That's all I'm thankful for. Last but not least, we have the ghost of Melody. When Phoebe was playing chess alone in the park and the chess pieces started floating on their own, I generally thought they were going to do what they did with their Afterlife and use the ghost of Egon Spengler. But I am so glad they didn't do that again. In this scene, we meet Melody. I'm pretty sure her backstory is that she died in a fire with her family and she's now tethered to the earth and is trapped here because of her incomplete business. That is until she frees Goraka the friendly ghost, using Phoebe's body as a host and causing New York to freeze over practically. That brings us to the end of the film. When Goraka is set free and completely freezes New York, I was like, oh shit. Are they about to do an Infinity War? I genuinely thought they were going to lose the battle, causing them to make a third film and have them beat him in the next installment. And I was kind of disappointed that wasn't the case. It would have been so cool to see them lose to Goraka. Maybe someone could have died, then we jump a few years ahead, and the Ghostbusters find a machine to unfreeze the city, and finally take down Goraka, just like in Endgame. They could have even called it Ghostbusters Aftermath. Don't get me wrong, I loved how it ended with the whole team of Ghostbusters, old and new, teaming up and defeating him. Save for the Human Torch helping them by their side. This isn't Marvel, come on. Anyway, that is my whole spoiler review for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This was my first ever movie review. Let me know if I did a good job, what I can improve on, add anything else in the near future. Please comment what you thought about the film in your own words. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Wherever you are in the world, hope you have a good morning, a good evening, and good night. My name is Noble, and this is The Film Front. Take care.